What's up, YouTube? It's your boy G Money and my brother's keeper. Yes, I am. And this is another episode of Sidewalk Talk. I bring up different topics and we talk about home invasions, how to prepare yourself for that. We talk about being aware at gas stations, especially at nighttime, or avoid it altogether. Try to get your gas during the day and avoid going to dangerous gas stations at night. But I want to talk about the place where a concealed carrier or legal carrier or anybody carrying this is probably the most you're going to encounter a situation where you have to make a very smart decision, and you have to make a quick smart decision, because it can turn around on you and you could be the one to blame in a heartbeat if you make the wrong decision. And that's in traffic. That's road rage. Um, Now this is very tricky, because road rage situations can flip, and I mean in a second, and you really have to make the right decision when this is happening. Um, if somebody in there, somebody in a vehicle is going crazy in their car, and because y'all almost hit each other, or somebody switched over without the other person seeing the other person, and now you got somebody pissed off in their car, and they're going crazy in their car. You have to make the right decision to know if what they're doing is going to endanger you or the people in your vehicle. Is it a threat to your lives? The thing, the how they're reacting. If say they decide to get out of their car and they're walking over towards your car, these are the decisions you have to make now. They're coming over to be violent. Now, are they getting out of their car with a weapon in their hands, or are they coming over with just their hands and feet and just cussing? Are they hitting on your vehicle? Are they attacking your vehicle? Are they pulling at your door handle trying to get inside your vehicle? These are different scenarios that is so hard to try to give somebody advice on what you should do in that situation, because different states and cities have different laws. I live in the state of New York. New York wants you to try to flee the situation. They want you to, if somebody gets out of their car and tries to approach my car, they're going to say, well, was anything blocking you? Was any cars in front of you to stop you from accelerating and pulling off? Because, why didn't you pull off? You could have avoided the situation by pulling off. So if I would have sat there instead of pulling off, and say this guy opened my car door up, or bust my window, and then I decided to use my firearm, when it's time to go to court, they're gonna say, well, when he was walking around to your vehicle, why didn't you just pull off? You have to really make quick, smart decisions, because you're gonna go from self defense to somebody, the prosecutor, trying to prosecute you and send you to jail, like you were the aggressor. And it can flip on you just like that quick. In another state, you might get away with that scenario, because they in another state, you might have stand your ground, where you're not required to have to back down or run, and you're able to defend yourself, depending on how serious the situation is. You're able to stay there and defend yourself. In New York State, you have to think about it differently, because they want you to leave the scene. They want you to get away. They want you to call the police. New York State is tough, man. It's one thing how they try to make it difficult for you to get your license, and then when you get your license, they still want you to be the victim. They still want you to run and have to rely on the police that's not going to get there on time for the situation that's happening. It's tough in New York State, man. I really do. I can't stand living in this state. Um, because you can easily be prosecuted for using your weapon. You know, they're gonna try to put it on you. Why did you shoot him? Why you couldn't do this? You couldn't get away. You couldn't, but you know, they probably say, well, did he block you in? You couldn't get away from him. So it's different scenarios with different states, man. I don't know. I know it's a lot of people that are in different states. I would like y'all to comment, and y'all in the comment section, please let me know. Like, if a situation happened where someone got out of their vehicle and approached your vehicle, and say they punch in your window trying to break in your car or pulling at your door. Um, if you weren't blocked in, are you still required to try to pull off, or do you have the right then to fire on that person? And will it be considered self defense? Because in New York State, they will be like, well, were you blocked in? You couldn't pull off, and you will be prosecuted. So that it's tough. This one right here is not me giving advice on what you should do. What you should do is look at your state's laws and see exactly what is self defense, what you can and cannot do in your state, in your city, because I can't speak for everybody else's situation, because I'm in a state and city where I'm not in stand your ground. They want us to try to run and dodge the situation. And so for my situation would be, if a guy was to get out the car and try to attack me, and I was able to pull off. So they say I pulled off, and he got back in his car and began to follow me and chase me. Now that will put me in a situation where I tried to get away, and this person is trying to be violent, and I tried to avoid violence, but he's chasing me now with his vehicle. You know, I don't know if he's about to try to use his vehicle as a weapon now, because if somebody's following you in a vehicle, they might try to bump into your car, bump, anything to try to slow you down. They might try to cut you off. Now the next thing he might try to do is get in front of me and try to cut me off so he can get out the car. And now, if a car was if he was to get over in front of me and cut me off, and now I can't go forward and I can't get away, and he gets out of his vehicle and approaches me, now that might give me the excuse or the reason that I have to use my firearm, because okay, I tried to get away, he chased me down, he prevented me from going forward or getting away because he just pulled his car in front of me, and he's getting out the car trying to be violent, and now I feel my life is in danger. That right there will probably give me the reason to use my firearm. But you see all the stuff that you got to think about before you do it, and this is happening fast, so you can't, you know, in the moment of it going down. That's a lot to be trying to sit there and have to think about. Like, oh my God, if I do this right now, am I going to? You don't have time to think about all of that because you're too busy trying to react to what's going on. You got somebody trying to bust your window open or get inside your vehicle. You have to react right then and there. Every second count, because you don't know what this person's intentions are. We behind the eight ball, man. The legal citizens, we are behind the eight ball, because the aggressors and the violent people that's trying to do something to you, they don't have to abide by the rules we have to abide by. They already out there illegal, or they don't care. So we're reacting off of what they're doing. They don't have to. They're not worried about getting their concealed license taken away or getting put in jail for whatever reason. They're doing what they're doing because they out there and they don't care. They're not living by the rules. We have to react off of what they're doing. So, if they get out the car, they know what they're about to do. They know that they just got out the car with the intentions to hurt you, but we don't know. So we got to figure out, are they trying to hurt me, or are they just trying to talk shit? You know, you can't just pull your gun out and shoot somebody in the face because they talking shit. Because then you definitely going to jail. But you don't know what the person's plans are when they get out their car or when they pull up on the side of you. And that's so dangerous to get into a road rage argument with anybody because you don't know what that person has in their car. Y'all are looking face to face with each other, but this person can have a big ass gun sitting in their passenger seat right in, right while they talking to you, and be leaned over with their hand on it, or they got it in the armrest and have it right in their hand, or have it on their lap, and they sitting there talking to you, going back and forth, and till they gets pissed off to the point where they raise it up. You don't know what that person has in their vehicle. Pepper spray, anything. They I just seen a video of this female arguing, these two females arguing back and forth in their cars, and the girl she had a bear spray can. That didn't even look like regular pepper spray. She had a bear spray can and sprayed all in the girl car. Like the girl whole it was just she turned her head and couldn't even move because the spray just was all in her car. The girl pulled off laughing. It was like she couldn't do nothing about it because the spray. Oh man, I don't know if you ever been maced with some regular shit or whatever, but I can imagine how bear spray feel. Because I seen somebody fighting outside of a club, and me and my friends was across the street, was way across the street, and the officer sprayed the dudes that was fighting, and the wind was blowing real hard, and the wind blew that shit across the street where we was at, regular pepper spray, and it lit my eyes up. And that wasn't even a direct shot. So I could just imagine what some bear spray or what some real hectic spray feel like going in your eyes, right there being close up on somebody. So it's like you just don't know what somebody has in their vehicle in a road rage situation. So it's best to try to avoid that as much as possible. If not even if you're a concealed carrier, just avoid it, period, man, because people are hot headed out here in these streets, and everybody 9 times out of 10, I'm just gonna keep it real. 9 times out of 10, the person you arguing with got something in their car, especially if they being super aggressive. Like somebody got something in their car. They got something, and you really playing a game right now of, okay, are they going to get aggressive to where we take it there, or are they just talking shit because they blowing off steam, they mad? You don't know. So you playing by their game. You got to go according to how far they going to take it. That's dangerous, man. Another thing that you don't want to be in a situation where is a car full of people. An altercation with somebody say it's the driver that you're going back and forth with, and he got about 4 other people in the car with him. And they all in the car, especially if it's some young dudes. If it's some young dudes, listen, man, try to avoid that by all means, because listen, you could be arguing with the driver, and all of a sudden the person in the back seat can start shooting at you, and the driver didn't even tell him to do that. You just don't know. He might have live wire people with him in the car. That's not about talking or arguing. He's arguing with you, but the person in the back seat ain't with the arguing. He just about action. You be arguing with the driver, and the back seat roll down, and he just all of a sudden a gun come out. He's shooting at you. He's shooting at you. It can go down like that. It has gone down like that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be very careful about altercations in the street and vehicles, road rage. People be riding around deep like that in cars. That's a red flag automatically, man. If they're riding around deep in the car, red flag, man. Avoid that by all means, because somebody in the car got something, most likely, man. Somebody got something, and if they looking aggressive or acting overly aggressive, driving overly aggressive and out there wild, running lights and shit, and then they happen to pull up next to you, keep your cool. Don't look like no sucker, but don't be trying to look like you super tough, like you want an altercation with them either. But just keep your cool, and just when that light turn or whatever, go on about your business. But don't get in no stare down with a car full of dudes that look like they just trying to start some shit to get some shit popping. Because most likely that's what they trying to do. They looking for something to get into. So this is my advice, man. I can't tell you exactly what to do because, like I said, the laws are different in different states for how you have to react to things. But one thing that you can control is you, your temper, your emotions, and your reaction to people. Some people you just gotta let go. You gotta just let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if you make a mistake in traffic, you will be surprised at how easily you apologizing will diffuse a situation or stop somebody from being going to 100. You know, they could be super pissed off about something that you might have did, and if you realize you made that mistake, you could just look at them and be like, hey, yo, that was my fault. My fault. I apologize. I did not mean to do that. I did not see you when I switched lanes or whatever the case you might have did. Apology could change a whole lot of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if you just looking back at them like, fuck you, then they going to be even super mad because you did some stupid shit and now you being disrespectful. When you could just honestly be like, yo, I messed up. That was my fault, man. I apologize. I did not mean to do that. I did not see you. That could diffuse a whole situation and everybody make it home. So, you know, I'm not gonna make this one too long. I already went over, you know, a limit that I didn't want to go too long. I don't want to bore nobody. But this one I think is real important that y'all need to know. It's about to be summertime, man. It's gonna be a lot of stuff going on in these streets, you know, especially with road rage and people driving like they don't got no sense. You know that driver that I've been that driver too. I'm not gonna lie. I've been that driver where I was in a rush or I might have been in a rush. And you know, they going around you in traffic. They going, you know, trying to get to where they trying to get to, and then that next light catch them, and you're driving the normal speed, and y'all end up at the same light together, and they just did all this speeding and shit, and didn't go nowhere. Y'all at the same light together. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot of that shit, man, during the summer. People driving reckless, running through red light stop signs and all that bullshit. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you're going to expect. You're going to get that every summer. You're going to get that every summer. It's a new batch of retards out there driving every year. You know what I'm saying? So be ready for the road rage experience and try to keep a cool head. And remember, pulling that gun out is the last resort, man. That's not the first thing. Unless the only reason that's going to be the first thing you're doing is if you see them reaching for their gun. If you see somebody grab the gun and they walking around and getting ready to approach you, that's when your gun is the first option that you should be grabbing. But if you don't see a weapon, your gun is not the first option to be using in no kind of situation because it's going to get turned on you if you shoot and kill somebody, and or if you don't even kill them. If you shoot somebody and they weren't putting you in any like serious danger or harm, you going down for that. You're going down for that. So be safe out there, man, and be smart. This is your boy G Money and my brother's keeper. Yes, I am. And this is another episode of Sidewalk Talk. God bless y'all. I'm out.